Hello and welcome to Inside Hockey TV. Coming up, we'll take a look at the 2009-2010 regular season surprises and disappointments, and a lot more.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to these playoffs. I think they're going to be a lot of fun. And first, let's take a look at the regular season. What was the biggest surprise for you in terms of a team that did more than you expected?
Obviously, one that stands to mind is certainly with the uncertainty coming into this season and last season during the offseason was the Phoenix Coyotes. I think that's the pretty obvious answer there, though there were a bunch of surprises in the league. But what they were willing to do with so much uncertainty and at the trade deadline boost their team from 6th or 7th in the Western Conference to 4th, where they have home ice in the first round, and entertaining first-round series with the Detroit Red Wings. I mean, you can't argue that their success, certainly, I mean, it was unpredictable there. And you look at guys like Lee Stepniak, who underachieved in Toronto, and look what he did in the last 15 games with Phoenix. He's been on tear. You look at Wolski, who they also got from Colorado in the deadline. This team is destined for success in a long run this year. Of course, we'll get into a playoff run.
You know, I thought that they did a really great job a couple of years ago of buying low when they landed Ilya Bryzgalov. They didn't give up much to get him, and what he's provided them with is such great stability that all these players have been able to gel, come together, despite all the financial uncertainty in Phoenix. They've done a great job, and Bryzgalov, I think, is the focal point of that, and also, of course, the leadership of Shane Doan.
Oh, for certain. You look at guys like Ed Jovanovski. He went to a Cup in '96 in the Panthers' second or third year in existence. So they have playoff experience. It's not like they're coming in with inexperience. But against Detroit, they're going to have a struggle against them, I think, against a veteran team. Of course, more on that later.
Yep.
Speaking of other surprises, you look at the New Jersey Devils. I mean, coming into the season, a lot was expected that they at least make the playoffs, but getting the Ilya Kovalchuk at the deadline and winning the Atlantic Division, I'm sure no one predicted that.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you look at the Kovalchuk move, and it came actually about, what, a month before the deadline, and that was the big surprise, is that the Devils jumped everyone and made the deal for Kovalchuk. Everyone thought, all right, who's going to get Kovalchuk at the deadline? Well, the Devils didn't let it wait that long. They didn't let it wait for the price to go up and for them to get into a bidding war. Instead, they got the deal done, saved the Thrashers some money for that month or so of service time that Kovalchuk would have otherwise been spending in Atlanta. And now the Devils are a real threat, especially with Marty Brodeur playing with a chip on his shoulder after the Olympics snub.
Oh, for sure. And you look at Zach Parise, too. I mean, he was the hero for U.S. to tie the game. I'm looking at him to play a bigger role in the Devils stretch run. Look at guys like Jamie Langbruner. Look at some of the defense there, which they're not great defenders. They won't get their names in the paper every day, but they'll certainly get the job done at the end of the day.
Very, very solid. No question about it. And now the disappointments. There have been plenty. We could look out into the Western Conference. The two that I think are the Calgary Flames, who failed to make the playoffs, and now people are really advocating for a house cleaning, and the Detroit Red Wings made the playoffs, but they really kind of squeaked in.
And I look at the disappointments. Even though these two teams made the playoffs, they lowered their expectations going into the playoffs because of such high expectations in the regular season. You go in the East, it's the Bruins and it's the Flyers.
Yep.
Both of those teams were predicted in the top 4 or 5, and they barely limped into the playoffs. I mean, it will be interesting to see. They actually have some pretty good first-round matchups, though, that should be entertaining.
Yeah, no question about it. I mean, I don't like the Flyers matchup against the Devils, and I think that the Flyers going into this season, there was cause for concern. I mean, they were basically riding their goaltending around Ray Emery, and that obviously didn't work out. You know, you look at the Boston Bruins. Tim Thomas, last year's Vezina Trophy winner, has now ceded the position to Tuukka Rask for all intents and purposes, and I think Rask did a really fine job in the second half of the year. So I think the Bruins are heading in the right direction going into the playoffs, whereas you really can't say the same thing for the Flyers.
Well, you look at Philly and, of course, the goaltending situation. From Emery to Boucher to Michael Leighton to, I don't know, six or seven. Back to Boucher. It's like 6 or 7 different goaltenders that they played during the course of the year. And we all know goaltending wins games in the playoffs. Flyers don't have it, but they should still make it.
And the Devils sure do.
Yeah. But I'm going to say it's going to be an entertaining series for those two. I mean, a lot remains to be seen, but it should be 2 Atlantic Division rivals. They have playoff history, too, so, I mean, it's going to be exciting, I think.
Yeah, I think it should be a good series, an entertaining series, but I don't think it's going to be a long one.
No.